welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to use my TBR jar to choose my March TBR. That was a mouthful, I don't know why I phrased it like that. We are this month going back to our trusty TBR jar and we are going to choose 5 or 6, we'll see how we go, books to read in March. I just want to preface by saying I definitely want to choose at least a couple of books off my physical TBR. There's someone here that I really want to read, but we are also going to choose a lot on Kindle. I really tackled my physical TBR this year. The books that you can see here are my entire physical TBR, other than the ones that have fallen over. That is my entire physical TBR. There's also quite a few books on here that are the first in a series, and I am not starting any new series in genres in which I already have series going, and at the minute I've got a series going in pretty much every genre. So any books on here that are the first in a series, I'm going to try and avoid those. I currently have like over 100 unread books on my Kindle, not including Kindle Unlimited. That is just books that I've bought on my Kindle. So we really need to tackle that. So yeah, we're going to choose a mixture today from the physical TBR and from my Kindle. But without further ado, for the second time, I'm going to try and open the jar without making a loud noise. Let's choose our first prompt. Okay, prompt number 1. Oh, I've got 2. We'll do both. Let's start with this one. A standalone. Stunning. Can you actually get any better? I think we'll start by choosing a couple from the cart before we start thinking about Kindle. There's 2 on here that I really, I mean, I want to read every single book of my physical TBR, that's why they're on there. But there's 3 that I really want to read that I think are all standalones. So we've got The Little Book of Miriam. It's like a memoir, basically stories from her life. So we've got that. Fake Skating by Lynn Painter, which I've been wanting to read for months. And Under Lock and Key by Lana Ferguson, which I bought not that long ago, but I really want to read. I think I'm going to go with Fake Skating just because it's been on my TBR the longest out of these 3 books. Still not been on there that long. I only bought it at the end of last year. As I said, I really tackled my physical TBR last year to the point where I started this year with like no books on my physical TBR. So we'll go with Fake Skating just because I've had it the longest. I want to read all 3 of those books, but yeah. This is a YA romance, which I don't read much of anymore, but if I am going to read a YA romance, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be from Lynn Painter. And the reason I think this one will work for me especially is because it's centred around ice skating. And if there's one thing about me, it's that I love books centred around ice skating. I really don't know the premise. Oh, okay, fun. They were childhood sweethearts, now they're enemies. We love that. And I think Lynn Painter does really well. I think she did this well, like in Better Than the Movies, for example, is creating like fun tension and fun conflict where it doesn't feel stressful to read, but there is actual tension and conflict between the characters that then obviously goes away as they become romantically entwined. But I think she does a really good job of showing that kind of transition. So I am very excited to read this one. So that is book number 1 on our March TBR. Book number 2, we will go with the other prompt that I picked out. A book with 350 pages. So we'll get as close as we possibly can. Let's go with the other book that I wanted to read and see how many pages. No, over 400. What about these 2? I'm trying to pick like short romances. I feel like that's the best chance. Okay, this one has 366, so we'll put that as an option. 370 something, so that is more. All of these Philippa Gregory books look longer, and they're also part of a series that I haven't started yet, and I don't own the first book, so that's why I'm kind of ignoring these. I'm so excited to read them, but I don't have the first book, and you don't have to read them in order, but like something in my brain, I'm gonna have to read them in order. Swear on This Life. This isn't even 300, I don't think. Oh, just over 300, so not as close. This one looks really short. I don't know if this is going to be... No, that's not even 300 either. I think, just for ease, we will go with the X-Files. I mean, I could sit here and scroll through every single book on my Kindle and click on it and then click again to see how many pages it is, but that feels like a lot of effort that I don't think I've quite got in me today. So we're going to go with the X-Files. I have been wanting to read this book for such a long time, and then I saw they had it in the works, so I picked up a physical copy. This is about 2 exes, and they are at the wedding of their best friends, and it all goes wrong and they have to work together to fix it. I just think that's stunning. Forced proximity, but in a way that kind of makes sense. I'm assuming maybe it'll be a bit ridiculous, like the wedding, like the reason the wedding goes wrong, but I just think it's fun. Like fun vibes, fun setting, fun setup. I'm very excited to read this one. I was gonna say, like, I kept saying I'm gonna save it till the summer, but like I kind of knew that I would never save this until the summer. I knew I was going to read it soon. So that is book number 2 on our TBR for March. Okay, I think for the other 3 or 4, we will try and choose some Kindle books. So the next prompt is, okay, no, we won't. No, okay, maybe we will, because this is number 8. Usually I would count physically, but that's not going to work because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is like a book number 53 in a series. Not literally, but you know what I mean. So that's not going to work. So what we'll do, I'll pause, I'll open up the Kindle app on my phone, and whatever book number 8 is, that is the 3rd book that we're going to put on a March TBR. Okay, so I've recorded the screen, hopefully it worked. Book number 8 is Dawn of Rebellion. It is the first book in a series, but it's a dystopian series, and to be fair, the dystopian series I'm currently in the middle of, book 2 isn't out. So I'm not actually actively in the middle of a dystopian series where all the books are released, or at least like the next book is released. So I think that's fine. Like, I don't mind that, as long as it's, I just don't want to be in the middle of like 70 fantasy series and 53 romance series. I don't need to be in the middle of that many, but I think this is fine because it technically I'm not in the middle of an active dystopian series. No idea what the premise of this is, haven't read it. I think I actually got this for free. I don't know if it was an Amazon first reads pick or if it was just generally a free book that I picked up on Amazon. I can't remember. So I have no idea, but I like the title. I love a book with a rebellion, so that's good enough for me. I think it's probably YA, I'm assuming, but we will see. I feel like my TBR videos are a bit rubbish because I don't read the premise. I don't read the blurbs. I just go off vibes, and I've heard no one talk about this book either, so that'll be an interesting one to read in a video, I think. Like a book that I've never heard anything about, so I'm going in with absolutely no preconceived notions. I don't know if I'll read the synopsis before I start reading the book or not. I'll see what mood takes me on the day that I start reading this, but yeah, that is book number 3 on our March TBR. Book number 4. Finally, we've got one that's not yellow. The first 3 were all yellow. Fake dating. Okay, well, I'm sure fake skating was fake dating, so I could have chosen that one. I actually don't know. Like, this is a problem because I don't read the synopsis. I think what I'm going to have to do for this one, I will go away after this video because I just don't have time to do it now. I'm on my lunch break from work. I'm on a time crunch. I will go away after I film this, and I will put the cover here of a Kindle book that is fake dating that I own, and that is what we will read. The fake dating book that we are going to read is Wyatt by Jessica Peterson. This is the next book in a series that I've already started. It's book number 2. And I didn't realise it was fake dating. So this is great because I really like the first book. It helps me continue with the series, and I adore the fake dating trope. So yeah, this is our book that we are going to read for this prompt. Book number 5. We'll do 2 more to make up for the fact that, like, that was a bit of a cop-out. Prompt number 5. Let's see what it is. A romantasy. Okay, let me think about romantasy series that I'm in the middle of that have another book out, because I don't want to start a new series, and I feel like most romantasies are part of a series. What we could do, I am in the middle of, I don't know what the series is called, This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi, that series. Currently reading book number 3 now, so let's put book number 4 because it is out, and this will be the push that I need to actually continue this series and get up to date with it. I can't remember what it's called. This is literally the worst TBR video, I think, in the history of TBR videos. I'll put it here. Is it like This Twisted Glory? I think it's something about being twisted, something about glory. Maybe I've made that up. But yeah, it's book number 4, and this series is a Persian-inspired fantasy series. It's YA, but it doesn't feel that YA. Like, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't know how to describe this series. It's very slow. It is. But the characters, in my opinion, are really quite fleshed out. In book number 3 in particular, and to be fair, also in book number 2, and kind of also in book number 1, you just spend a lot of time with the characters, but there is interesting plots going on. There's just, they have to do a lot of work to move the plot along. Like, it's not fast-paced, it's not action-packed, this series, but it is very interesting, and sometimes I want a fantasy that's not constantly, like, stressing me out with how high stakes it is. Sometimes I want something that definitely has a lot of stakes, like the stakes in this are very high. It's just not constantly kind of thrown in your face how high the stakes are. Does that make sense? But it's also not like loads of cute, boring, everyday moments. Like, they are advancing and working towards the thing they need to work towards, but just in a different way. I don't know, it's very different to any other fantasy series I've ever read. But I love the way that it's written, the world is beautiful, I really love the characters. I just love being in the world and spending time with the characters, even if they're not doing very much. So yeah, that is book number 5 on our March TBR, is the book that I'm sure has Twisted and Glory somewhere in the title, but here it is anyway. And then let's do one more for good measure. Book number 6. Oh, we've got a pink one. Fun. Lowest Goodreads rating. Okay, so I'll do this one now because this one's a bit easier. I have got my whole Kindle TBR on my Goodreads now, so I can just filter it. So I'm gonna go away, look at what it is, and I'll be back. Filming on my phone, by the way. That's why I'm saying I have to go away, because I'm filming on my phone and Goodreads is on my phone. Okay, the lowest rated book on my Kindle TBR is Fireball by Lainey Davis, I believe the author was. And I just briefly read the synopsis. He is a teacher and she is the boss of a tech startup, and they don't get along. She's the kind of person that everyone seems to love, thinks she's an amazing boss, everyone loves her, except him. He really doesn't. It seems like she's done something to like upset or offend him, and she's very much like aware of this and she's trying to make it up to him. The reviews aren't great. This has an average of 3.3, which is rather low for good reason. Not the lowest, but it's on the lower end typically of what I see on Goodreads. But that's fine. We will go in with an open mind. It is the first book in a series, which isn't great. I said I don't want to start books in series, but this is the lowest rated on my TBR. So there's not much I can do about that. And reading the reviews, I'm not sure it's a series I'll continue, but I will go in with an open mind. But yeah, this is our book number 6 for our March TBR. And I think we're going to leave it with 6 prompts this month. I've been doing like 5 or 6 and finding that a really nice number, because it means I typically read maybe around like 15 books on average. Not every month. Some months I definitely read less. But I'd say on average throughout the year, I probably read between like 12 to 15 books a month. So choosing 6 here just gives me a bit of space to also mood read. I wasn't enjoying having like a 15 book TBR that I just then had to stick to for the whole month. I much prefer this. I find it a lot more achievable, and it means that I actually read my TBR, because I don't have to read them back to back to back. I can read, like mood read, in between. But yeah, that is our TBR for March. 2 books from the physical TBR and the other 4 on Kindle. And I don't own the 4th book in the This Woven Kingdom series. I've been listening to them on Spotify, so we'll do that one as an audiobook. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up down below if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!